Right now we have head coach of the Highland Hornets, Mike Gibbons, joining us. And, Coach, thanks for taking time to join us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Coach, so far this season, what a great season your team has had. You had a little bump in the road against Aurora, but talk a little bit about the season you guys have had so far.
Yeah, it's been a great year. We have 26 seniors on our football program, and they're doing an outstanding job. There's a lot of obvious experience returning here with these guys. They played a lot of football, so going into the year, we knew that we could kind of lean on that, and they've definitely stepped up to the challenges so far. And had a tough one last week, but we're going to bounce back here.
Coach, one of the things that's been a surprise all year for you and as following your team is the play of Jake Rogers. I mean, I don't think this guy can. There's nothing he can't do from a football standpoint. I was waiting for him to come out and give kids water during timeouts. Talk a little bit about his progression because he's not playing a natural position at running back. He's had to replace Brent Ponikvar, who's injured. How is he that transition for him?
Yeah, Jake's a special player. I always tell people that it's like having three players in one. His ability on offense to create some explosive plays, and then defensively, he always covers the other team's best receiver, and is really a good shutdown corner for us. And then special teams, his ability to return punts and kickoffs. He returned a punt the other night for a touchdown, and it's becoming pretty consistent when he's back there. The sight of him at least going all the way for a touchdown. So he's a great young man. Works extremely hard. Very gifted. He's not the biggest kid in the world, but he's pretty devastating out there on the field. So glad we have him. And we moved him to running back, and it's probably not his natural position. He's probably more slot receiver. But we had like you said, Brent Ponikvar went down with a torn ACL. So. He's doing a great job at running back too, so it's really, you put him anywhere, and he's gonna be a full player.
Hey, Coach, this is Ed here. Just wanted to, in looking at, traditionally Medina Highland, you've really brought this, you've really brought the Hornets up to a great level here. I mean, your non-conference schedule, you played Brunswick, Medina, and a very tough North Royalton team. These are teams that this program really hasn't faced in the past. But since your arrival, you've taken on these teams and you've had some very good success. Now, talk a little bit about how that part of the non-conference schedule has evolved for you.
Yeah, I think you want to challenge your team every year, and we felt that going out there and playing Brunswick and playing Medina and North Royalton as our non-league games would be a heck of a challenge, and it certainly was, and we were glad we were able to win those games. But yeah, I guess you're just looking for teams that are going to challenge your guys, and that certainly happened, and glad we were able to win, and we're looking forward to the future when we get to play them again.
Looking at your schedule upcoming, how do you get your kids to really focus after, you lose 22-21 to Aurora, but you face some good teams coming up with Copley, Talmadge, and Barberton. How do you get the kids to really put that in the rear view and focus on the next game against Copley?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is to get back to work. It was obviously a tough game Friday night, and going through the film on Saturday, obviously everyone's kind of feeling that pain. But it definitely felt good to get back on the practice field today and, start practicing and get ready for another great opponent in Copley. And they present a lot of challenges that we got to prepare for. So kind of move on from, whether you like the results or you did not like the results of the previous week. You get for the next one. And that's kind of been our mantra all year long is, we're really never going to get too excited with what we do or really too down with what we do. It's on to the next thing. So that's kind of where our heads are at right now.
Hey, Coach, we spent some time talking about Jake Rogers specifically at length. I've obviously seen some film for you guys, and I've seen you guys up close and personal and what some of your other players are capable of doing. Who are some of the other players that have really made an impact on your team this year, both offensively and defensively?
Well, I think offensively, Matthew Ernest, our quarterback, is a two-year starter. He's thrown for over 1,100 yards this year. He's got the great ability to throw the ball and run the ball. Really executes our offense. he has to make a lot of reads, both in the run game and the pass game. We're reading defensive ends a lot in our run game, and he puts us in good position that way, and then throwing the ball as well. Making accurate passes and not turning the ball over. So Matt Ernest has had a great year for us. Defensively, Ryan Frederick is our strong safety. He's a good long player. He's 6'2", about 85. He's able to play the run and the pass equally well, and then he's also our tight end on offense. So he's another senior leader that is a 3-year starter and is having a good year for us. And so those are a couple of our guys on offense and defense.
Coach, one of the things I noticed, when Josh and I were at the game on Friday night, was really the community is really rallied around your team. There really is a lot of excitement out there. We saw it; it was palpable, throughout that whole game. And even more palpable after that questionable call in the fourth quarter. But it's talk a little bit about how the community's responded to how good this team has been playing over the last couple of years, and what kind of support you're getting from the Highland community.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's amazing support at Highland, all the way from the time these kids are in youth all the way till they're in high school. There's so much support from the families and the community at Highland and the schools. So it makes it fun for Friday nights. I think it's, especially with the new stadium, it brings everyone together. That's the place to be on Friday nights. So it's always fun to go ahead and look up the crowd during the game if you get a second and see all the people that are there to support these kids. And the players work so hard and they put so much into it. So it's great to see that they're rewarded with all that support from the community. And we know that's going to keep going, and hopefully we can win some games here down the stretch and get in the playoffs for them too.
With all the success you've had so far, have you had even a better turnout in players coming out for the team? It seems like Highland always gets a lot of great kids to come out and has had a lot of success. With that success, do you guys get more and more players each year coming out to be on the team?
Yeah, it's numbers are pretty good. This senior class has 26 players, so it's a really good class that way from a number standpoint. So we actually might take a little dip next year in numbers, but we have a great youth program at Highland. A lot of kids are involved in that. And our 8th grade team, they had lost one game, and then our 7th grade team lost one game. The youth programs are all doing a great job. So from top all the way down, seems like the thing's headed in the right direction, and we're just trying to promote football as best we can within the school system, and with the youth camps and the youth clinics and all that stuff, just keep everybody involved. And like I mentioned, the community's very into football. They love it. They're very passionate about it. So it's always exciting to be around.
Hey, Coach, this is your 3rd year as the head coach at Highland. A couple of years at Beechwood, and then, of course, the 3 years at Brunswick that you and I were there together. Being that this is your second stop and you're 5 years into your head coaching career, how have things, how have you changed, or how you handle things now that you're, for all intents and purposes, a veteran as a head coach, as opposed to your first couple of years at Beechwood?
Yeah, it's all such a learning process, I guess. When you become a head coach, you have this vision of where you want things to go, but you really, I guess, don't know until you experience all these things. I've been blessed to be at Brunswick, which was a very big school, and then go to a smaller school in Beechwood and see, just coaching kids where maybe the numbers weren't that big, and then, going back to Highland, which is a Division II program. So, being challenged, I guess, in different ways is kind of helped evolve me as a coach. Again, I'm still learning every week, every day, just trying to do the best that I can. But it's been fun. It's been a fun ride. I wouldn't change anything, and just continue to learn and try to grow as a coach.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on our show and talking to us a little bit about the Highland football program. We know you have 3 games left in the season, so best of luck the rest of the year. You've had a great season so far. Keep it going, and thanks for coming on our show tonight.
Thanks for having me. It means a lot.
Hey, Coach, one more question. Mount Union going to take the title this year?
Absolutely. Yeah, they're going to get back on track this year.
Yes, sir. That's what I like to hear. Please give my regards to Mr. Gribble, Mr. Musil, and Mr. Fritz as well, please.
I will do. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much, Coach Gibbons.
Thanks.
That's head coach of the Highland Hornets, Coach Mike Gibbons, and what a great job he has done with that Highland program. They've always been a really tough team. They know how to get it done when it comes to playoff time and during the season. And they're very much still involved in the playoff pictures. One loss, versus a very good Aurora team that's trying to fight for the playoffs themselves. So, want to thank him for joining us here tonight. And a big show for Sports on Tap here.
2 guests on a Monday.
And, and we're right on track time-wise,
shouts out to
too.
Ed Dick for making a lot of this possible, booking
Way to be, Ed.
and Gibbons. Reaching into
more heads up to them. They were in much better positions than I am, and we were able to interview them.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
I think it's pretty cool that for Highland specifically, now between them and Wadsworth, they're the class of Medina County, which were for a long time. That was Brunswick. Wadsworth has been there before, but Highland is now up there, and Wadsworth. You can see in those, I guess, the smaller in terms of division ranking teams starting to really build up, and they're playing the D1 programs, and they're beating them. So they're setting their own ways. They're paving their own streets, and things are going well for them, and it's exciting to see, definitely.
And you also look at that area, and that's rich in this department or in this area with football. I mean, that's a good football county. As good as I would say on par with Cuyahoga, with Lake, with anyone. There's a lot of talent in Medina County, and you see it even with Buckeye. I mean, Buckeye's right there, and they're really dominating in their division. So I mean, I think the future holds bright, and I think Coach Gibbons is doing a great job with that team. And he touched on it there early on. He says, "Look, we got to look at the film. We got to feel bad on Saturday, but we're back. We got to beat Copley. This week we got Barberton at the end of the year, and that's
you got Talmadge in there too.
Yeah, and you got a Talmadge team that's
what a tough
that's
end of
knocking
the
on the
season.
door. I mean, if Talmadge can shock the world and beat Barberton next week, then Highland's right back in that race. They have an opportunity to take the conference at that point. Because they're and again Aurora's there. So I mean, I think the conference is setting itself apart. It's kind of there's what we thought it would be, with the surprise being Talmadge. I think from a playoff standpoint, I think Aurora has a lot of work to do, and they're going to need a lot of help. They need to take care of business, and they need to have some of these teams that they beat some teams. They need Highland to continue winning, because that makes that win look even better. And they need some help. And hats off to the Aurora Greenmen for responding after a big loss to Barberton the week before, and then coming in on the road. I mean, back to back on the road against Barberton and Highland. That's a tall task for anybody. So I mean, kudos to them for being able to stem the tide and win that. So,
well, Aurora has to win out. I mean, they play a 2-5 Revere team, a 3-4 Copley team. Then they play Mifflin. They're 6-1, but they do have that big win at Talmadge. That's their only loss of the year. So, they really need to win out here, like you said, and then they'll probably need maybe some help there. But it's going to be interesting to see how.
But
how
Rob,
this season, and that's why you love high school football.
That's why they play the game. But
right.
That was last week's game of the week. Let's preview this week's game of the week.
Yeah, real quick.
Guess what? I think we're going back to a place that Josh and I spent quality time together
last year. Yeah.
Last year, we are going to Midview to watch Midview Olmsted Falls battle it out for SWC supremacy, perhaps?
Well, Avon's in first right now. Then you have Olmsted Falls and Midview fighting for second place right there, which is pretty important with spots. Midview's right now ranked third in, Region 6?
Yes.
Division 2, Region 6. So they're right now in third, and I believe, looking at where Olmsted Falls is, I believe they're sixth right now. So, that would be an absolute huge win for Olmsted Falls if they could get a big win at Midview, which is a really tough place to play. Obviously, Midview, a great facility.
It's a fun atmosphere to watch a football game.
But that's going to be a good one, especially, both schools travel well. So, Olmsted Falls fans are going to come out for that, and it's going to be a fun game to watch.
So it'll be myself and Josh out there roaming the sidelines. Hopefully Josh brings a backup battery or something.
I'll have it fully charged before we go, I promise.
He's a busy guy. I mean, this guy works social media like I've never seen.
He's not the king of social media for nothing. I get it.
I'll have to make sure it's charged because, Indians will win the series, even though it's not looking good right now.
That's right. It's early still.
Game 1 of the ALCS is Friday. So
okay.
Real quick, we'll go to our obligatory Cincinnati-Dayton area roundup here. The Fayetteville Rockets have hit a little bit of a rough patch in their schedule here. They take a 32-22 loss last week to East Clinton. That drops Fayetteville Perry, the Rockets, to 4-3 on their season for head coach Kevin Finch, my brother-in-law. Next week, they have a very winnable game against Williamsburg. They're going to be coming into the contest at 1-6. So hopefully this will be a game where Fayetteville can get back on track, right the ship. As Coach Benzoni said, if you go 2-3 weeks without a win in your column, it's tough to recover from that. They experienced some very good highs already, winning 4 in a row. Right now they're at a 3-game losing streak. We'll see if they can get back into the left side of the ledger this week against Williamsburg.
And my alma mater, the Vandalia Butler Aviators, suffered a tough loss to the Troy Trojans, 20-36 in Week 7. It's been a up and down year for the Aviators. They travel this week to take on a 4-3 Piqua team, and let me just say this: if for those of you that are listening, there's one team that I don't like. I don't like their town. I don't like their faces. I don't like their logo.
Now you're getting
everyone says that the rivalry has always been Butler Northmont. Yeah, not when I was in high school. The rivalry was Butler Piqua. So guys, let's beat them. Let's go into their place.
Maybe they need a little Sean Duffy luck. They need you to show up.
I'm not going to Piqua. Why would I go to Piqua?
I don't know. Spark your team to a win. I don't know.
It's like 4 hours away.
All right.
But
good luck to
go
the
in there,
Aviators.
burn their house down. Let's do this.
Wow. All right. He's getting deep here on Sports on Tap.
And Sports on Tap does not condone arson of any kind.
Yeah, I don't condone arson. It's a figure of speech.
Yeah, I got you.
Metaphorical arson.
Well, I want to thank Coach Gibbons of Highland, the Highland Hornets, to come on our show, and also from the Brunswick Blue Devils, Coach Mark Pinzoni, for joining us tonight. Great bunch of guests, and great job, guys, for our Week 7 recaps.
Yep, looking forward to it. And Tribe down 5-2 now in the bottom of the 4th inning.
A lot of game left.
We did this last week, and it worked for them, so we're going to do it again. We're going to give them some little good
Let's
karma.
do it.
Next week, we'll look forward to some playoff talk next week.
That's right.
As we get Week 8 will be concluded by the end of next week, so we'll have a lot to talk about as far as playoffs are concerned for each of our respective conferences.
Yeah.
And you want to hear Ed crunching numbers because this is just impressive. So join us next week for our Week 8 recaps, or Week 7 recaps, and then we'll also give you crunch numbers on where the playoff picture looks with Joe Itel. All right, we're Sports on Tap. I want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Rob Troutman. For Ed Dick, Sean Duffy, Josh Jeffy. We'll see you later. Have a great week, everyone. Good luck to everybody playing on Friday.
And go Tribe.
Go Tribe.
Ugh.